The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 4 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 3 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 2 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 1 minute. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 30 seconds. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
One mic.
I'm back.
It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live,
Ain't no goddamn tape.
interactive, and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky, he's real loudmouth, he's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back from the weekend. Welcome into a Monday. I'm in here, man. The One Mic with Big Mike show. I am, of course, Big Mike. Heard live right now on Spreaker.com. Spreaker also has an app. Make sure you download it for all your mobile devices. You can also hear me on TuneIn and, of course, my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. For those of you who want to be interactive and be a part of the show, do so in a couple different ways. You can text me at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments, questions, criticisms right below my live stream that's going on Facebook right now. Go to the Facebook page, man, at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE at One Mic with Big Mike. You can check out the live stream there. You can leave comments and questions below it, or you guys can jump on in my live interactive chat room here on Spreaker if you're listening to the podcast via Spreaker or the Spreaker app or my website. You'll see a little thought bubble icon there on the streaming player. Just click on it. You'll be right up in the building. You guys can interact with one another, start your own conversation. You can do the show outside of the show. You can be a part of what I'm talking about. All those things are available to you and yours. A couple other things I need to mention at the bottom of the hour. I got a guest tonight, former NFL ball player, Super Bowl champ with the 2007 New York Giants. You know, that team that beat the undefeated Patriots. My man Geoff Pope is going to join me. We're going to talk about some athlete activism. I'll find out what he's got going on off the field as well. And I'll talk about, this is the 10th anniversary. This year marks the 10-year anniversary of that team that allowed us not to see or kept us from seeing the first undefeated regular season and postseason since 1972. So we'll talk with him at 7:30 at the top of the next hour. Of course, since we have a guest today, I'll move our daily feature on this day to the top of the hour, where I give you guys some little factoids, tidbits, little trivia type stuff about the history, what things that happened on this day in the history of sports. So we'll do that at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, for the people who are listening live. The One Mic Fantasy Football League is officially full. That's popping off. So shout out to all y'all. Shout out to you, man. Hands up, man. Appreciate y'all for participating in the league this year. 12-team PPR league, which means on Wednesday we're going to get some draft prep done with my man Rob Grimwood from Fantasy Football 24/7. He's going to join me on Wednesday at 7:30. So joining me from the UK, as a matter of fact. So that should be pretty lit. As far as today's show goes, I don't really have a lot to talk about. As far as sports stuff goes, there's some things going on right now, and I'll make sure I mention them and give you my thoughts on them like I usually do. But there's more pressing things going on in the world right now. Shout out to everybody, man. Everybody got folks out there in Houston, that area of Texas that's getting hit by what was Hurricane Harvey, and now I guess it's Tropical Storm Harvey. I mentioned this, if I can say it in English, to you guys on Friday. The crazy thing about this storm was, and I don't think I mentioned this part, it kind of just got inland and stopped. Like, it went from going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour to, I heard, like 2 miles an hour. It just like rested and like started dumping rain on these people, man. These people are down there going through it, man, on some Hurricane Katrina level type stuff, man. And I remember that time very vividly. That was when I was that was at my first radio gig, and I was doing promotions in the streets. And one of the things we did promotionally at that time was we went out and tried to collect funds. Partnered with like a local grocery store. Not local. Kroger's not local. I mean, Kroger's a pretty recognized brand. and the American Red Cross, man, to try to, help in the relief efforts monetarily and help have people like, leave their change at the register or whatnot. And I remember talking to this lady who, her whole family were, they got out of Hurricane Katrina, but, her mom and her dad were retired, living in like 3-bedroom home. And now they got the whole family. I'm talking everybody at the crib with nothing. So she's like, they're washing clothes all day because ain't nobody got no clothes, ain't nobody got no money. And it was one of those things that really, after just having this conversation where maybe 10 minutes, because they was in the store, getting more food, because, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that she was just like, they just sitting around playing cards and barbecuing all day. So people ain't, just on top of each other inside the house. And, it's one of those things she started telling me about, like the what they're going through as far as when you flood, it's a little bit different than like if your house catch on fire. At the end of the day, as bad as that may be, you can go to work the next day or whenever you're back up to, you can go back to work and start making more money. But like when your town floods with water, it floods your whole town. That means your job is flooded, your bank is flooded. You know what I mean? If you had to dip, like a lot of those people had to like just dip out immediately, you leaving behind like precious things, man. Like, and I'm not talking about like pictures and stuff. I'm talking about like birth certificates, like things that identify you, man. Like if you ain't have time, if you just getting rescued from like a helicopter or a boat or something, and your purse is like underwater somewhere, if you're a woman, or your wallet or whatever, if you're a dude, like your ID is going, like all that stuff that you normally kind of take for granted is just not there anymore, man. And it's like, it's many people, man, around that Houston area, that area of Texas, man, that are going through this. And I think, man, Louisiana got hit a little bit as well. Not, they're bracing, because this is the part that I said on Friday, that this damn storm went back out, to like get more ammunition. It got inland, where storms usually, where these type of tornadoes, hurricanes, usually die. Nope, this one said, all right, we got to go back and get reinforcements. Went back out to the ocean to get more rain and humidity. They say it's not going to get back to hurricane stage, but it's going to come back later on this week and dump more rain on these people, like 20 more inches of rain on these people, man. They around here floating around in boats and rafts and what are those things called? Mattresses, those air mattresses and things on roads, like places that are streets and roads. So, the one thing I like to say real quick though, and I'm not banging on nobody's, belief systems and any of that stuff, but all this like pray for Houston, pray for Texas, all this to stop praying. Like, well, keep doing that if you want to do it, if you think it works. If you think talking to yourself is going to help, fine, that's cool. But also, man, reach in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I went and got the information, the American Red Cross information, for people who want to donate. You should, by the way. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS. That's easy. 1-800-RED-CROSS. Or if you just want to text your donation, you can text a $10 donation to Harvey, Harvey. Nope, sorry. Text Harvey to 90999. Let me say it again. Text Harvey, Harvey, to 90999. And automatically, I don't even think it just goes on your bill, man. It's just like 10 more bucks on your cell phone bill to help some folks out, man, who a lot of folks just don't have nothing left, man. They got to rebuild their whole lives. Some of these people, for the second time, if you remember, during Hurricane Katrina, people dipped on I guess you go straight down I-20 from New Orleans or whatever. You just go west, right? You run right into Houston. A lot of these people went to Houston. Some came to Atlanta, but a lot of people went to Houston and stayed. And now, here we are tomorrow, by the way, as ironic as this is, the 12-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina tomorrow. And there's a lot of people that's over there, man. I heard on the news they're going through this for the second time, man. That's kind of heartbreaking, man. I had a bad guy moment today. Also, it's a bad guy moment, and I'm a bad guy, and I can't help certain things like this. I didn't want to do this. This dude was very emotional on the news earlier. He was talking about, what he was going through and how scared. Like you could tell, this dude was he was shook to his core, man. Because of what happened, the sounds and the amount of rain and the things that are going on. And then the reporter that was interviewing asked him about his arm. See, I'm laughing again. Asked him about his arm, his injury, right? He's like, oh no, man. Nah, I was in I was grilling, and the next thing you know, the damn trailer started turning over, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop myself from laughing. The vision of this dude during a Category 4 hurricane, you know what I mean, grilling inside a trailer, and the trailer flipping. Yeah, it was a bad guy move, man. But funny is funny to me, man. Shout out to him. He was all right. They put him on the phone with his dad because that's who we need to get in contact with. Make sure his dad was all right, and make sure he can get to his dad so he can get out of that situation that they were in or whatnot. A lot of athletes. You guys follow athletes on Twitter and stuff. JJ Watt, if you guys follow him, he's collecting money as well. Yesterday, his goal was like $200,000 yesterday. He actually got way past 200. I think he's past 200,000 because when I saw him on CNN yesterday, he said he was up to about 195 grand yesterday. So, you know, yeah, man, do what you can, man. You know what I mean? Like if you can get some, you know, some ends together and help those folks out, man. I know we can't all get in our cars and take boats down there and snatch people out their cribs and whatnot, people that's stranded in their cribs. And here's the ill part too. They talking about like when once it gets dark outside, they're gonna have to cease the relief efforts, the rescue efforts. So people who are in their cribs right now might have to stay in their cribs again overnight to tomorrow, man. That's, you know, it's people up in attics and stuff, man. And like I know my attic, man, get like crazy hot during the summertime, man. And I can't even imagine having to sleep up there. Like I'm the dude that'll go up. I'll use my attic as like a ghetto sauna sometimes after I'm done working out. Just go up there and like kind of just, you know, sweat a little bit more after the workout. But like if the door got locked or something and I couldn't get down from up there, it's a terrible situation, man. It get crazy hot, man. So, you know, like I said, I ain't have a lot to say today, but that's just one of those things. It kind of harkens back to something that, you know, I saw happening. I saw like the overflow of it here in my city 12 years ago, man. And for that to be happening again to some people twice, oh God, I can't even imagine it. So once again, man, if you guys can go in your pockets, you ain't got to go in your pocket, man. You can just like attach it to your cell phone bill, man. Text Harvey, HARVEY to 90999. That's 90 and then 3 9s after it to make a $10 donation to the American Red Cross. Or you can call 1-800-RED Cross. I'm not sure how. I'm sure you probably had to do a credit card or something if you call 1-800-RED Cross. But you know, it's all the same, man. The money is supposedly, I ain't gonna make no guarantees because I don't know, but you know, it's supposedly going to the people in need out there in Texas and New Orleans or wherever else is affected by this hurricane turned tropical storm Harvey. Speaking of being affected, we're gonna be affected too, man. I went out earlier today and filled up the tank. You know, I wasn't empty. I wasn't on E or nothing, but you know, my wife sent me a text like, these gas prices about to get outrageous. You might need to go top off. And usually I'm the dude who's like, whatever. But you know, my better mind spoke to me and said, you know, do what she say. So I went down there and went ahead and, you know, topped it off, got it to the F line. I suggest you guys do the same as well. When I went today here in Atlanta, with the outskirts of Atlanta, we at 240 something right now. We was at 218 something like that last week or before the Hurricane Harvey. And you know how these people get, man. I during was that Katrina when it was running out of gas and cats was in line trying to get, you know, lining up miles deep at certain gas stations trying to get gas before they ran out. Yeah, it got real crazy, man. And because all these oil refineries are in Houston, it's gonna be a real task to keep things in order as it pertains to like the petrol. So you guys, if you can hear me, if you're within the sound of my voice, man, and no matter where you are in the country, gas prices is going to be affected by what's happening in Texas and Houston. So I do advise you to go ahead and, you know, get your thing on, man. Fill that tank up if you got a second. Not now. Keep listening to the show, or just put me on the Spreaker app and take me with you. Use some of that data on your phones and listen to me in the car while you're going to get your gas, since I did hit you with the info. Also, a couple of things in the world of sports. The Texans-Cowboys game, preseason game on Thursday. It's not going to be canceled. I heard Michael Smith and Jamel and them on the 6 talking about. Michael Smith was like, they need to cancel it. Like, I don't know what that's going to necessarily do. And I guess because people in Houston, the people who play for the the Texans, they live there, so they have family and whatnot in the city. So I can see that being a thing. It's a preseason game, but at the same time, man, there's people that need that work. You know what I'm saying? There's guys who are trying to make a football team that need that game experience, and I don't know, how do you deny them? You know what I mean? I know that the cause is bigger than football. I understand that this natural disaster is bigger than football, but when it's over and it's done with, life has to continue for other people. So if logistically it can happen, if that 3 hours can happen, why not? I'm not really the person to tell people how to spend their money or how to make their money based on like other people's moral judgment. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not big on like you should protest this or that. Nah, I mean whatever you choose to risk. You know what I mean? It's yours to risk. It's not mine to risk. So with the NFL, which come on, man, like at some point we gotta just remember what the NFL is. They've told us and they've shown us many a times, like, why are we still playing that game? You know what I mean? Like, your girl cheats on you all the time. Why are you still playing that game as though at some point, you know what I'm saying, she's going to be this faithful housewife and all about you? Nah, that's what she does. She don't hide it no more. So either you learn to live with it or you move on. Also, the BYU LSU game is going to be played in. Did I mention the game is going to be moved to Dallas? The Texans-Cowboys game on Thursday. The BYU LSU game from the weekend, from this weekend, college football, that's going to be moved to New Orleans. There's a couple of other things happening, like Rice is staying at TCU. The Rangers and the Astros working out some things. Like, and I know all these things are kind of minimal because of life being lost and property damage and people, like things that kind of lie in between those lines between life and property. But the things that have these sentimental values to people and things that you can never get back, these things are being lost and people are being very, very much affected. People aren't getting enough to eat. And then, they talking about, I saw on the news earlier, they talking about price gouging. People charging you $99 for a case of water, man. Come on, man. Part of the game is that. Like, we live in, like, the world is crazy, man. No one has any sense of scruples when it comes to, like, people and human life, man. Like, you charge somebody $99 for a case of water. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But it is what it is, man. All right, we're going to move on, man. Once again, and I'll say this a couple times throughout the show, too, for those of you who chime in, who come in and out. 1-800-RED CROSS. If you want to donate, you need to. Or text from your mobile device, Harvey, HARVEY, to 90999. All right. Now, let's go on to this weekend. Man. I've never, ever in life seen so many people so excited to get taken advantage of. This whole, this McGregor, what is it, McGregor or Mayweather McGregor fight. Full disclosure, I peeped it. Before I say I watched it, let me just tell y'all how I watched it. I did some things that I don't know why I did them. One was, on Saturday while I was sitting in here working on Saturday, and for whatever reason, I made the decision to binge watch Power, which is probably the stupidest show ever. The stupidest show that's not intended to be stupid ever on television. Like, everyone on that show, every character is an idiot. Like, is a stone cold idiot. None of them. Like, that show should probably lasted like 3 episodes, because everyone should have probably died by their own doing. And then the only one who did die, spoiler alert, is a little girl who ain't have nothing to do with nothing. Like, you barely see her in any episodes. Well, I don't know that she's dead. I'm not going to say that. I guess the season finale is coming up. So anyway, I spent the day doing that. And then while I was doing that, if you knew how my setup was in here, it's like a TV all the way up where I'm looking now. If you're watching me here on the Facebook live stream, then there's my monitor, and then I have my laptop in front of me and a phone and a tablet. I'll post a picture of it at some point. So I got that going on, And then on Facebook, somebody streaming, shout to the internet, and shout to the goons on Facebook. Somebody streaming the Mayweather fight, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and like click that on and see what's popping with it. And like while I'm watching Power on the big screen, I'll kind of like, glance in. And glancing in, I was just like, this is not good. This looks like a boxer fighting an MMA guy. That's what it looks like. You saw my man's hands getting heavy. Then his legs went out on him. And like I was talking to my guy, my guy Rob Calloway. He's a big boxing guy, and he's like, man, hell no. Well, I'm doing his voice, but it was over text. I asked him, was he satisfied? He was like, nah. He said Floyd let that boy stick around too long. And I was like, that's pretty much the operative word. He let that dude, so that you guys, he never felt like he was threatened. Let him stick around for 10 rounds so that people could feel like they got their money's worth. Your man got off a couple blows, but nothing substantial. Come on, man. Like, just because his glove touched my man's head, there was nothing substantial. I saw him get warned a couple times for like doing the MMA, like the beating on the back of the head situation. But for what it was, man, it was so anticlimactic, and only 2 winners came out of this. None of you won. All of you lost, including me now, just because just for me, consuming the small amount that I did, I still feel like a loser for participating in that foolery, that WWE-ish version of boxing. 2 dudes who went out and talked a bunch of stuff and homophobic slur this and racial slur this, and to get people riled up. And then we got the real reason people were happy, because we got new memes now, and people control, like, you MFers don't care about Irish people until St. Patrick's Day, but all of a sudden now you want to talk junk to Irish people. Come on, man. Because of what? Floyd Mayweather? Like, if there's any dude that I'm not like hitching my flag to, it's Floyd. Floyd Mayweather's a bad guy. He's a bad dude, man. You know what I mean? Not talking about his business acumen or his ability as a boxer, but like, just who he is not the person that I'm like, yeah, who I'm riding with? That guy. Like, all you cats running around screaming money team and all this kind of stuff. Why? You're not a part of it. That's his money. He's not giving it to you. You know what I mean? It's just so weird that how tribal and stupid people allow themselves to be. Not even because you want to. It's almost because you feel like you're supposed to. Like, that's something that you're supposed. You see a white dude from Ireland, and he's talking stuff to this black dude. Well, I gotta side with the black dude. How about this? You don't side with either one of them. Yeah, they're both idiots. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it was a plan executed almost very well. I mean, just under 15 grand showed up in the building. And just to put it in perspective, that's 6,000 people, 6,000 less people than showed up for Alvarez versus Chavez Jr. Now, taking into consideration that Alvarez versus Chavez Jr., the tickets weren't astronomically priced like they were for this Mayweather McGregor fight, but based on how they promoted and how it was supposed to be like the next big thing, you would have expected this 20-something plus thousand venue to be sold out for it, right? Something like, what was it, like 3 million people? Was it 3 million people streamed it for the free ski online? You MFers. I don't know. Do I count as that? Because I don't know. Somebody else did the live stream on Facebook and I participated in it. So does that make me one of the 3 million? Like, I didn't share it or nothing. I just consumed it. I don't think it really matters. Whatever. So for what it's worth, I didn't look at the money today. I think it was 100 million for Floyd before the pay-per-view money comes, and 30 million for Conor McGregor. Not bad for 10 rounds. You know what I mean? And then, by the way, shout out to Conor McGregor. You know what I mean? He made more money in that 10-round fight than he's made in his entire MMA career. shout out to him. Dude that was on food stamps a couple years ago, now getting punched in the head for $30 million. Like, I think Floyd could punch me in the head a few times for $30 million. You know what I'm saying? I think the brain swelling would go down eventually, but yeah, he can punch me in the head for like $30 million. And then Floyd is now in the Athletes Billionaires Club. The dude who's made $1 billion from sports, a total $1 billion from sports. And they said the list is him, Tiger Woods, and Michael Jordan, but that Michael Jordan shouldn't be there. Michael Jordan didn't make his $1 billion from sports. Michael Jordan made his $1 billion after sports as a businessman, as the Jordan brand guy. So that's kind of a false type of situation there. And then where the bar was for this thing, we're like, the way people were talking about it after it, like, oh, it was better than the Pacquiao fight. Well, okay, the Pacquiao fight sucked. You know what I mean? So the bar that you set for this fight was already super damn low. So to say it was just better than that doesn't mean it was very good. And when I asked my guy, he wasn't really impressed with what happened, man. I think he was one of those people. I don't think he paid for his ticket either. I think he was out there on some media stuff. So he wouldn't have cared if Floyd would have just punched this boy in the mouth 10 quick times in the first round and gave him like the 45-second dirt nap. Not dirt nap. That's death. No, not killed him, but just knocked him out. I didn't mean dirt nap. Yeah, he wouldn't have minded. It would have just shown that, there was boxing dominance. And I think, and I understand where he's coming from too, because like, now that this has happened and this guy has made that much money doing that, what's to say, man, that more of these guys don't do to just get real outlandish, start challenging some of these other boxers that's not 40 years old, that's hungry and have knockout power. These UFC guys just try to like bounce out of the octagon for a second to get a quick payday. Like, that can't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, if boxing, which I've been proclaimed, is a dead sport. It's dead. It's on light. It's floundering. It's basically a niche sport. That things like this have to happen. Things like Pacquiao, Mayweather has to happen after this long anticipation and wait and all this kind of stuff. Those things have to happen for people to come out for these fights in these numbers and put up these type of financial numbers. And then, so now if you like John Jones or Anderson Silva or whoever, I don't know a lot of the MMA dudes, they see a money grab in place, and then there's some boxing guy, again, don't know the names of these boxing dudes. There's some boxing guy, I do know the one dude's name, I can't think of it right offhand, but sees an opportunity as well to do the same thing, pump up the fight and talk a bunch of junk and find out personal things about these people. Like, that is definitely the WWEing of both sports. As hard as mixed martial arts and the UFC has fought to become and be looked upon as legitimate, to go down that road, I think it would become a death sentence. I think what it wouldn't be a situation where the MMA or the UFC is bringing boxing back up. I think boxing is like an albatross, what is that thing? An anchor, and it'll pull UFC down. When the UFC's in a good place, they bouncing back from John Jones scandals, and they bouncing back from Brock Lesnar scandals. I think people respect the purity of it, man, and the fact that like me, I like, because it's just a fight. Like, you just kick this dude's ass any way you see possible. You can choke him out, punch him, kick him, break his arm, whatever you want to do. You can get it popping. If that starts to change and dudes start, bouncing back and forth between the WWE and then boxing and all this kind of stuff, I think it waters down your product, man, and it brings a level of skepticism into what you're doing. Because like I said, what I saw, Floyd just let this dude hang around until he was tired of dealing with him. Like, dude, at your best, you fight 5 rounds. We're at double that now. Let's rock and roll. And Floyd started putting them paws on Buddy, and it was a wrap. All right, let's take a break, man. We got to take a break and get my guy Geoff Pope on. Geoff Pope, who won the Super Bowl with the 2007 New York Giants. He's going to come on and talk to me about some athlete activists and some of the things that he's doing post NFL football career. And we just going to kick it for a minute. We're going to talk about that 2007 team and how he got to be Super Bowl champ as well. We'll do it next on the One Mic with Big Mike show. It's live, man, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app as well is TuneIn and the One Mic with Big Mike.com website. Make sure you guys are following me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, where I'm streaming live right now at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem even I can't fight alone: childhood hunger. Over 17 million kids in America may not know where their next meal is coming from. That's 1 in 5 children. Yet billions of pounds of surplus food produced right here in America just get thrown out every year. That's more than enough to feed every last hungry child. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by going to feedingamerica.org. Together we can knock out hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
with Big Mike.
No doubt, man. It's Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live right now on Spreaker.com. Also, download that Spreaker app for your mobile device. You can also hear me on TuneIn. And, of course, that One Mic with BigMike.com website. If you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, the shows are available on demand on all 4 of those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And also make sure you check out the Facebook live stream going on right now at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Now, as promised, it's 7:30, so we got a guest, man. We're going to talk to this young man about his time with the New York Football Giants. We're going to talk to him about some athlete activism. You guys, welcome into the show, my man, Geoff Pope. Oh, where's my... Oh, there we go.
What's
Jeff.
up? What's up, man? How you doing?
I don't know it, brother. I don't know it at all, man. All right, so first and foremost, before you came on, I was talking about this farce that happened in Vegas this weekend. Did you check out any of the fight this weekend?
Yeah, I didn't order it, but my buddy ordered it, so I went to his house and checked it out.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Check it out for the free, man. Real quick, what did you think about it, man? What I was saying before in the first segment was that, like, this can't become a thing. You know what I mean? Because I think boxing is a flailing sport. It's a neat sport. It's not really going anywhere. There are no names. There are no American heavyweights making any noise. And UFC is a sport that's kind of come up out of the nothing, come up out of the dust, and found some legitimacy. And to now start doing this kind of circus stuff, I think would be boxing bringing down UFC and not the vice versa. But what were your thoughts of the entire sham, as I call it?
So I actually think, I disagree a little bit. I think boxing is pretty relevant. There's some big names in boxing. But I thought it was a joke, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, that they would even give Conor McGregor this type of shot to challenge arguably the best boxer in the world. And so, you know, you got a lot of people saying, oh, well, you got to give McGregor credit. You know, he lasted 10 rounds. And my deal is like,
Floyd let him.
You know, Floyd Mayweather's he's not a knockout puncher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So anybody was going to last 10 rounds. So the fact that he knocked you out at being 40 years old after a two-year layoff, it's pretty significant. And so if you ask me, McGregor don't get any credit for lasting 10 rounds because, you know, that's just how I feel about it. But like I said, you know, they trying to give McGregor every ounce of credit he can get, and I ain't giving him none because if Mayweather was a knockout puncher like Mike Tyson or Triple G, then yeah, that's a big deal. But Mayweather is a sit back, I'm gonna get this money and last 12 rounds and win a decision, knock you out.
Right.
So. You know.
Right. It's like, yeah, it's that whole, like, so many people just got taken for this thing because of the sideshow and all this ridiculous. And make sure you guys follow my man on Twitter. I am Geoff Pope. I'm saying your name right. You ain't had like one of those creative black parents, right? It's really like Geoff or something like that. It's Jeff, right? Like the beginning, the beginning of Jeffrey. So yeah, I am Geoffpop, and we're gonna talk about his startup, the LCR.com situation before the interview's over. But let's start with you, man. Let's start with your situation with the New York Giants. It's the 10th anniversary of that Super Bowl team, and I was reading, like, I saw your Wikipedia, which Wikipedia has burned me before in interviews, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Like, how you kind of, like, got up in there was real smooth and crazy, right? Because you spent most of the year on the practice squad that year, right? And then due to an injury, you got bumped up to the active roster, played in that Dallas game, then the NFC Championship. And then next thing you know, you're in the Super Bowl, and then boom, Super Bowl champion. Like, that's the lick. Is that how it went down?
Pretty much. I mean, I mean, I was funny. I mean, if you go back before that, I actually signed with the Miami Dolphins, and, they told me I quote unquote wasn't good enough. So they released me. New York picked me up. We obviously make this playoff run. Miami that year, I don't know if you remember, it ended up finishing like 1-16.
Yeah.
And, here I am in the playoffs playing big minutes, in most of those games. And so it's just, I think it's just a testament to, you got to stay ready. You don't know when your time going to come, you know what I mean? And just going out there and doing the best I can do. And I had, to be honest, I had a really good example the year ahead of me, Antoine Bethea, who also went to Howard University. He won a Super Bowl the year before me with the Indianapolis Colts. So I had somebody like that in my ear to kind of, calm me down and stuff like that. But that's pretty much, Wikipedia got that one right.
That's what it is, no doubt. Shout out to Wikipedia. Is it the bison or the bison?
The bison.
Bison. So the white boys say bison. The North Dakota State boys say bison. And then the brothers say bison. Got you. All right.
Bison. There you go.
And the reason I hit you up because I was reading an article. I think it was in the Guardian the other day. And your name popped through the article, and you were talking about, or they quoted you as someone who's or described you, I should say, as someone who's encouraging athletes to be more socially aware. And in this time that we're in right now, I feel like every show that I do now, I have to give an update on what's going on with the social climate, especially in the NFL. And people get tired of hearing me talk about it. So I want to know, from your aspect, first of all, what are you doing to get athletes to be more socially aware?
So I can't really go into detail about it, but
Gotcha.
What I am doing right now is, I'm basically talking to a ton of former teammates, ton of former guys to kind of just gauge where support is. I mean, I think it's a lot easier to talk about what we can do as far as activism if we're not in it, right? It's hard for me to call, whoever that's in the NFL right now and say, hey, I need you to take a knee.
Yeah.
Despite, you feeding 35 people and, got bills out the wazoo, I need you to take a knee. Now, granted, I should be able to call him and do that, but I think we got to understand that today's climate isn't 1968, 1975, right? So it's a lot harder to ask these young black men who aren't growing up where you see racism literally every day in front of you, like Jim Brown, like a lot of these other cats, Muhammad Ali, to take a stance like that. And so what I've been doing, as well as a couple other former teammates, is just really garnering support for, the right to stand up on these tough issues, man. What they doing in Colin Kaepernick, it's a shame, man. And to hear people like Ray Lewis come out and say some of the stuff he said, Michael Vick, God bless his soul, say some of the stuff he said, and then...
That's what you say to like an ugly baby. You know what I mean? Like when you see somebody baby and it's ugly, like, bless his heart. Just bless his heart.
Right. Bless his heart. I mean, and honestly, somebody who's been in the locker room with Michael Vick, I don't look at Michael Vick to give me great social commentary, right? So when he was on that clown show, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, with Jason Whitlock, yes. Him.
Jason Whitlock. I mean, I just started shaking my head because I said, there's nothing that can come out of this that's going to be good. Nothing at all. And nothing came out of it that was good. So, there's not enough people on the other side of that, to say, what, like Shannon Sharp and a few other cats that have spoken up to say, what, man, this man deserved the right to protest. He's silently protesting. What's the big deal? And I think the bigger issue is, that everybody's talking about him, quote unquote, disrespecting the flag or disrespecting veterans, is nobody wants to talk about why he's doing it.
You know what? I want to talk to you about
it.
that too, man. That's something I wanted to ask you about, because I mentioned this on my show the other day. Because I heard it come out of my mouth. I heard myself say, "We're going to talk about the anthem protest today," and I stopped myself and I said, "You know what? That's stupid. That's feeding the idiots. This is not a protest of the national anthem. This is the protest of social injustice." So I figure, as black people, we got to own and take back the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Instead of continue to feed these people, these idiots who want to talk about troops and racist songs and flags in these situations, and not talk about police that's going home after murdering black people in cold blood. We got to figure out a different thing to call this, man. And I'm not the most articulate and creative person, so I'm not the one to come up with it, but somebody like you, and you one of those learned brothers, you know what I mean? So maybe you could put your mind together with some other people and figure out something else to a different descriptor for this, as well as when I hear guys who are a part of the protest feeling like they have to add some sort of subcontext in their comments by saying, "Now, wait a minute now, I'm not against the troops and I'm not against the country." Like, shut up. Stop saying that, because I feel like all you're doing as well is feeding the idiot beast. You keep mentioning that kind of stuff. It's like you feel like you have something to be defensive about. No, you're talking about people being murdered in America by people who wear badges and uniforms and falling under no kind of law after it's done. So I know that's a long way around to get to one question, but is there something we can do to kind of like change that part of it, the way it's being described and the narrative around it?
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I don't know what that is today, but I totally agree. I mean, I think, I said this last week to somebody. People will do and say whatever to protect their bias, right?
Yeah.
And so you got people that's coming out that's saying, Kaepernick disrespecting the flag, or Kaepernick disrespecting the troops, despite troops coming out defending Kaepernick,
right.
And despite Kaepernick saying initially that this has nothing to do with the troops, but you still got people that's riding that out. They can't, they're going to ride it out till they can't ride it out no more. And so it's easy to talk about what he's doing, but they don't want to talk about the issue. And until we talk about the issue, then it's going to continue. And my thing is like this: the NFL, I want to say, is 70% black. The NFL union, which is kind of the lost soul in this whole situation. Mm-hmm. Where have they been at? I think they just released a statement 2 weeks ago. But the NFL union has a black executive director, I think a black president, and they're silent on this issue. Yet, Kaepernick, me, whoever else in the NFL, vividly remembers paying them dues every year.
No doubt.
It was a big number,
no
right?
doubt.
So, so if the NFL union, if it's a teacher, right? If it's a teacher in New York that has an issue, she's not raising hell. She's going to the union, and the union got her back. So you look at the NFL union, they should do the same thing on behalf of their players. And this whole issue of he's not good enough, look at his team, they finished 2-14, this, that. Now, let me tell you something. Kaepernick is 3 years removed from a Super Bowl. Kaepernick is the closest thing we have right now to a big Michael Vick, to be honest with you.
Look, this is what I said the other day. I was like, you know what ended up happening? Like, another brother got signed to a team. Thad Lewis got signed to a team. He ain't played in 2 years. Yep. But as a black person, you can't even rightfully be like real happy for him because you feel me? Like, you want to be happy that this brother's getting a check again, but you know that Colin Kaepernick is like 10 times better than him and he got a job now. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. Like, once you start throwing Thad Lewis in my face and once you start telling me that, what's that other kid's name? Christian Ponder is on your short list. I'm like, come on now. Now you basically just giving me the double middle finger. You're not even trying to hide it no more. Tim Tebow, come on, B. We got to do better than that. You wouldn't call, like, I even told people, I understand the Jay Cutler situation. I understand how many of these things work in the NFL. Relationships, right? You got a relationship with a dude, especially a quarterback and an offensive head coach. That made sense to me. Even if it wasn't what it was, I could still make sense of it. But you can't make Thad Lewis, you can't make an arena football league dude make sense to me. I'm not that dense of a human being. Oh, by the way, I'm talking right now for you guys who are tuning in. The other voice that you're hearing is my man, Geoff Pope. Follow him, former NFL player, Super Bowl champion with the 2007 Giants. Follow him on Twitter at I am Geoff Pope. Geoff spelled Geoff Pope. We're going to talk about the LCR.com situation that he's got going on here in just a second as well before we wrap up the interview. Does Colin Kaepernick ever play again? I told my man Dave Zirin a couple months ago, no, he doesn't. I firmly believe that he is out there to be made an example of for all you uppity Negroes who feel like you can run some stuff around here. We're going to show you why you have these non-guaranteed contracts, because of why you can get cut at any minute. This ain't the NBA, pimp. So if you think you're going to step out of line, look at your man. But I want to get it from you. What do you think? You think he ever plays again?
The optimism in me says yes, but if I'm the NFL owners, you got to ride this out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because you can't be punked at this point, right?
Yeah, you can't go back now. I mean, you've crossed that line to basically that whole quote unquote we got to prove a point deal.
Right.
You can't really go back. And to Kaepernick's credit, he touring the world. He helping out people in Africa and giving money to J. Cole's foundation, this and that. I don't even know if he's stressing about coming back. He might have already come to peace with himself that, you know what, this is my calling. I made a lot of money in the NFL. I did something that very few people can accomplish. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But he might have got to a point where he's like, okay. But like if you're the NFL owner, you gotta ride this one out. As bad as you look, you gotta ride this one.
Yeah, because like these dudes is these white conservative billionaires. You can't see yourself as being punked. I kind of related it the other day to like the government saying that they don't negotiate with terrorists because if they do, the next time the demand will be more and more and more. Like the NFL is not playing this game with black folks. Like, you know what I mean? Right. You guys come pay your money to the game and all this stuff about. I had to call out some of my listeners about this. This like we boycott until Kaepernick gets the job. And I'm like, okay, then what if he don't? Because the NFL is prepared for that. Right. They know the drug that they have on hand, and they know you guys are hooked on it. So you might say, I'm not going to smoke it today, but eventually the yearning will come back, and you will go back to that same drug that you love so much. Because guess what? Everybody at your job is talking about their favorite team, and you got your favorite team. You want to be a part of the junk talking, and the season will start. It'll start, and then everything will go to the wayside, and it'll be all about your football and your fantasy football team, and all these things that happen in the NFL. Like clockwork, ask the Native American people. Every year, what you hear about, the Redskins got to change their name. And then that first kickoff happens, crickets. Nothing. Crickets. You know what I mean? Right. I want to ask you about the evolution of the protests, because I've been pretty hard on it. You know what I mean? I don't believe in making stupid people comfortable. And the minute Colin Kaepernick decided that he met with that kid, Nate Boyer, and he decided that I'm not going to sit anymore. I'm going to be more respectful, and I'm going to take a knee. And then he took the knee, and it was still crap. And I knew that was going to happen because stupid people are never satisfied. And then it went from taking a knee to cats raising fists, and then cats locking arms. And then you got now white boys feeling like, as long as I touch this black dude, I'm a part of this thing. And I'm like, come on, at some point, when do you stop? When does it stop? You trying to appease the idiots and go and move forward? Because to me, I'm not a professional protester or any of these things, but I feel like history has told us that effective protest makes the other side uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? If those bus companies weren't losing money, they wouldn't have gave a damn if Rosa Parks' black ass sat down and stood up. They wouldn't have cared. They would have just got her locked up like they did. But because they started losing money, because these black folks started walking and carpooling, they felt it. They got uncomfortable. But now if it's all about, well, we got to do it in a way that the other people are comfortable, I think you lose all your steam. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, I totally agree. I mean, this power in numbers, right? Imagine if, Malcolm Jenkins is, kind of, I guess, carried this torch a little bit by continuing to be vocal about it. But let's just imagine that, I don't even know this number, but Philadelphia Eagles got 53 people on their roster. Let's say 38 of them is black, which is probably a good number. Yeah. Could be less by a few or two, 2 or 3. And let's say all out of them 37 players, 30 of them was like, nah, I'm taking a knee. And what you gonna cut 30 players?
Right.
You're not. You got to take that L. You know what I'm saying? But when you only got Michael Jenkins doing it or another player doing it, you know what I'm saying, then it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Long can speak out. And kudos to Chris Long, because he's been one of the white players vocal about a lot of these social issues.
Yeah,
but
from the beginning.
Chris Long gonna get every benefit of the doubt. Well, he's sticking up for his teammates, this, that. And so it's like, let Chris Long take a knee. You know what I'm saying? If you really about it, if you really about these social issues, take a knee and get some of your other white players to take knees.
Right.
You know what I mean? But until you get the numbers to do it, then it's not gonna make a difference. Just like the NFL lockout. Yeah, you had a few players. I remember the lockout vividly back in 2010. You had a few players that was like, yeah, I'll sit out. I ain't going back to the table. But the majority of them cats was like, I need my bread. Y'all figure this shit out.
Yeah,
I need my bread.
Antonio Cromartie was one of the first ones. Like, look here, man, I got like 17,000 kids, cuz I need my money today.
Right.
Figure it out. But isn't that the big? Isn't that the trick that the NFL has mastered? The divide and conquer situation, where as you have like a Joe Flacco making $24,000, but then you have some dude, some 5th round draft pick that's making a couple $100,000. Like the gap is so wide to where Joe Flacco can be like, you know what? I can take a season off. But the dude that's the 5th round pick that bought his mama a house and got his cousin a car, and he's in this crazy business venture. He's like, nah, I need these checks to keep coming, or else I'm back to the poorhouse. And because you have that divide, it makes it hard, doesn't it? The same way with this protest stuff. It makes it hard for a guy who, again, is like maybe a free agent who says, you know what? There's a lot of stuff wrong with what's going on, but I can't stand up. And I guess my question to you is, and this kind of falls on what happened with Des Bryant. When Des Bryant, to me, I felt like he was honest, and I felt like he was the voice of a lot of the people who felt his way, but wouldn't say it, when he was like, look, man, I love black people, but I got to eat, and I got a family to support. You know what I mean? I think that's realism. And so my question to you, as someone who's been in those locker rooms, what is a realistic expectation for athletes?
Man, it's kind of
NFL athletes in particular.
It's kind of that, I think many of us have been ingrained since we was little kids that it's pro ball or bust, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to make it. I got to make it. So when you make it, it's like, I'm here now. I got to ride this out. And while they sitting there telling you, look, the average career is only 2.5, 3 years. Once you make it, you're like, oh, I'm here. I'm about to have a 10-year career. Yeah, I'm gonna blow money. I'm gonna travel here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And so I think a lot of people, whether it's cats that listen to your show, it's me and you, other people that haven't been in that locker room, I think we should all realize that the majority of these men are 22, 23 years old with no college degree, and their whole life people have been putting them on a pedestal. And you asking these young men to make huge decisions regarding their future that they didn't work 20 years to accomplish.
Yeah.
And people saying, oh, these players is cowards, they this, they that. And my thing is, I try not to ever judge anybody if I'm not in their shoes. You know what I'm saying? And so even at 33 today, I think back 10 years ago when I was in that locker room, I think I would have had enough courage to do it. But I was one of those guys like you was talking about. I was making league minimum. I wasn't making $4 million a year.
Right.
So, to ask me to do it, that's tough. Now, to ask me to pick up the phone and call my union, that's a different discussion. And I would like to think that the players is at least doing that. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the structure is just so crazy, man. We got a couple minutes left here with my man Geoff Pope, and I definitely appreciate you taking the time, man. He's a former NFL player. Got him a ring with that 2007 Giants team. Let's first, before we move on to the LCR.com, you mentioned something just now. What was your thing? What was your thing that when you got in the league, you said, it's like, I made it? What was the thing that you look back on, the purchase that you look back on as a grown man now, like, why the hell I do that? Like, why the hell I buy that? You know what I mean? Why the hell I spend bread on that? Whether you bought it or you rented it, or a trip to the strip club where you walked out like a couple stacks lighter than you thought you would. What was that thing that you was like, man, hell no? Like today you look back and like, man, hell no. Why I do that?
Man, I was thinking about this the other day talking to one of my former teammates, actually, because we actually both did it. And I bought this watch. And I was just like, I bought a watch, and I'm actually still in the watches today, but when I bought it, I was second-guess buying it. And then I had, the NFL, I think all professional athletes got that whole you only live once type deal, right? Like, I'm here, like, I'm going to do it, screw it. And I bought this watch. And looking back, I'm like, I could have did so much with the money I bought that watch for, right? But I think my watch or whatever, for me it's a watch. Well, a lot of these cats, it's a $100,000 car. It's, I bought this property, this and that, or I bought this nightclub. So I don't feel too bad about my watch. But for me, I look back and I'm like, why did I spend $9,000 on a watch?
And you can flip a watch too. You can flip a watch for a decent return. You might not get all your money back, but a decent watch, you can get like a good percentage of your money back. From what I hear, you know what I mean. I'm not in that same game, but I've heard that
That's
before.
True.
So it's not a total L. Like you say, if somebody went out and bought, like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy a strip club, but it's only gonna have like 300-pound women in there. Well, you gonna end up on the bad side of that business deal, cause before I let you go, tell me about the LCR.com, brother.
Yeah, man. So I just finished my MBA program at Columbia Business School.
See, learn it.
And me and a couple.
You learn it, bro. I knew it.
Me and a couple classmates, we're just trying to figure out how to solve this whole fake news and this whole bias situation. With major news organizations. I don't care if you lean to the left or you lean to the right.
Word.
I feel like 95% of the information we take in, whether it's opinion-based or actual news, is so slanted that if we're not smart, we fall right in line with that agenda, right? And so we launched a digital publication in which we consider to be an unbiased platform where everyday people can deliver short, compelling articles on their take on what's going on. And so, like, for instance, we just had one of our contributors write a piece on the Mayweather McGregor fight and how, like you said, I think you said on your Friday show, how it basically was split down racial lines, right? Like, if he was black, despite Mayweather having all this domestic abuse in his past, despite, quote unquote, him being illiterate, despite him being flashy, whatever, you still found a reason to root for, Floyd Mayweather. And if you was white, despite you not knowing nothing about boxing, despite you not being an MMA fan, you was probably going to rock with Conor McGregor. And so, we tackle the tough issues like that, but it's none of these 4-page, Washington Post articles. It's short, straight to the point, 500 words, just to kind of deliver opinions. And we tell all sides. We got people on the far right that get their opinions, just like we got people that's down the middle, and we got people on the left. Everybody from, bankers pulling in a couple $100,000 a year to the single mom working 2 jobs, right? To the brother who just did 7 years in federal prison. So we're giving you a ton of different perspectives on one platform. Subscription is only $2 a month. We feel like it's an insignificant ask for a completely unique platform, and it's growing. We launched on July 4th, and we're already profitable, so it's going good.
That's what it is, man. The LCR.com. What does that stand for? What does LCR stand for?
The LCR stands for left, center, right. And just like this is, we're giving you opinions from the left, center, and right on one platform. And I think you just said it. That's the .com, the LCR.com. It's pretty simple to get to. Yep.
No doubt. Okay, final question, and I'm gonna get you up out of here. Probably the most important question I'm gonna ask you today. You rock with Game of Thrones, brother? Are you a Game of Thrones guy?
This is a whole nother topic, but I'm not a Game of Thrones. I'm not a Game of Thrones brother.
So the next question would be, what's wrong with you? What's your problem, brother?
Man, you know what? Like I said, it's a whole nother show. But I got pulled into the whole. I've been struggling lately to keep it real with this whole NFL situation. Being a former player, it's probably hitting me worse than it is other cats. But when they broke the news of the Confederate show, which is by the same creators as Game of Thrones, I was like, I'm done.
Wait, that's a real thing? I heard about that. Like the thing about if slavery continued. Wait, that's real?
Yeah, that's being pushed by the same creators of Game of Thrones.
That's pretty awesome.
Exactly. So I was like, if I continue to watch Game of Thrones, I'm indirectly supporting these same cats that think this show is a good idea.
Wait, so hold on. So now you done open up. I'm gonna go ahead and go over time because I got to get into this. So at some point, wait a minute. At some point, do we come out on the top of this situation? Like if slavery, at some point, do we reverse the script or flip the script, or how does this thing end? Or do we just continue to be, humming and picking and getting beat?
Well, that's my point. And so, I had this discussion with so many people, and so look. There is only one way that we come out of an alternative ending to the Civil War. That's A,
right. Continue
to be in slavery. B, continue to be in slavery. And C, continue to be in slavery. I'm not cool with that. I don't want to see it on TV. It's, you know what I'm saying? If you created the Game of Thrones, which is a brilliant show, and you talk about the whole the mind trap, just like the NFL, it's a drug. Like, people can't stop watching it. And it's like the NFL. Like, look, we know we got you. So we just going to drop this news on you right quick. So you can't say you didn't know about this show we want to come out with. My thing is like this, like, as African Americans, we got to be strong enough to say no, you know what I'm saying, to our vices or whatever we love. Because if we can't do it, if enough black people, you know, and I'm going back, but if enough black people in Rosa Parks Day couldn't say, no, I ain't taking a bus, then it never would have worked.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm one man, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, if you tell me that you about to come out with a show with an alternative quote ending in slavery, to the Civil War,
that's outstanding.
I'm done with you. Like, I'm not watching your show. I'm not reading your books. Nothing. I'm not entertaining the Twitter commentary. Nothing. I'm done.
You know what we need to do? We need to come out with a different ending, a different alternative ending to the beginning of slavery. Like, when they tried to get us on the boat, the first one got hijacked. We took all of them back to Europe and got busy. We built America on their backs. Anyway, man, you a fool.
Man, so.
Hey, man, Geoff, I appreciate you, dog. Hey, we're going to have to do this again, though, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to join the show, though, my man.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it.
You got it. That's Geoff Pope, man. Former NFL player, Super Bowl champion with them 2007 Giants. We didn't even really get into the whole Giants talk, man, but so HBO has a show about the North losing the Civil War. Shout out to them for that. I heard about that, but I thought it was a joke. I thought it was one of those fake news things. Speaking of fake news, man, check out my man's website, the LCR.com. THELCR.com, man. I'm going to check it out. $2 subscription. I'm going to link it to my website, the one Mike with BigMike.com website. So make sure you check it out. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to take a break. I'll come back, do On This Day. We're going to move on. Address some of the things that were mentioned in the conversation with my man Geoff. We're going to definitely have him back on. And, yeah, we got some NBA stuff to talk about. Kyrie Irving, the Kyrie Irving trade might be in jeopardy a little bit. So we'll talk about all that and much, much more as we get into the second hour here on the One Mike with Big Mike show.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mike with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mike with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
One Mike.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One Mike with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One Mike with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
No doubt, man. Coming down the stretch here on a Monday. Here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Second hour. I want to say what's up and I want to say thank you. To my man Geoff Pope for joining the show. Yeah, man. Insightful brother, man. Intelligent brother. We're going to definitely have him on more to talk about a gamut of things. He's a former football player, so we can talk football with him. With all this, this protest, this activism, athlete activism going on, he's somebody that's embraced it and put himself in the midst of it. So I definitely want to have him on to add another voice to that part of the conversation as well. Don't forget, everybody, the show can be heard on demand if you don't get a chance to stick around and hear the entire thing live on Spreaker.com. Download that Spreaker app as well. Tune in, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, and please subscribe and like and favorite and all those things. And also on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Make sure you follow me on social media at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. You can also, to be involved in the show and get your thoughts and questions heard and all those things happening, text me at 404-902-8104 or jump inside my live and interactive chat room. You can also leave comments and questions below this live Facebook stream that I got going on here on the Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Before I get to On This Day, researchers at the University of Rochester have polled 1,000 participants on 400 common behaviors, and what they found was the regular use of profanity was linked to high intelligence. Bang. Bang. I'm a genius. They also found that those who swear regularly are likely to walk around the house naked. Boom. 2 points for me. And eat spicy breakfast. I don't eat spicy breakfast. I rarely eat breakfast, but not spicy. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. During the study, participants were asked if they performed each of the 400 behaviors and how often. The results were then compared with their own personalities, with the aim of being to identify signature behaviors for each of the main personality types. People with higher intellects were more likely to curse, eat spicy foods, and lounge around the house naked. But Neilsy. All right. There's no way to segue into this. Let's just do it.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right. Me, with my foul mouth and my huge brain, will now take you back in time. On this day, in 1922, the Walker Cup was held for the first time in Southampton, New York. It is the oldest international team golf match in America. On this day in 1941, the Football Writers Association of America was organized. On this day in 1955, the first ever NFL preseason sudden death football game took place. The LA Rams, who are now back in LA, they beat the New York Giants 23-17. On this day in 1978, Donald Vesco, he rides a 21-foot-long Kawasaki motorcycle, 318.598 miles per hour. And finally, on this day in 1981, Sebastian Coe of the United Kingdom sets a 1-mile record for 3 minutes and 47 seconds, 47.33 seconds. I think that's how you say that. Like a 5-minute mile. That's like the standard 6-minute mile, whatever it is. He did it in under 4, way under 4. Damn, that was in 1981. Is that the dude that was on that TV show, on that movie? How they created the Nikes with the soles with the waffle iron? Is that who that is? Somebody can tell me about that. That is your Monday edition of On This Day here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. All right, so we kind of got our NFL protest fix out of the way with my man Geoff. A couple of things happened within that, though. Eric Reed, you guys remember Eric Reed, right? Eric Reed was the guy who actually took the knee with Colin Kaepernick as a member of the San Francisco 49ers last year. And then coming into this year, he made it plain and clear to people that I'm not doing that no more. I'm not taking these knees no more because people are getting it twisted and they twisting up the situation. Well, he's had a quote unquote change of heart. He says, quote, a lot of thinking, a lot of prayer, talking to Colin. This is what he attributes to his change of heart. Continue with the quote. He was upset about the narrative, the false narrative that were being told about them, or he says us. People saying that we're un-American, that we're against police entirely and the military. I settled with thinking raising that awareness was a victory. Oh, he's talking about he felt like people just having that was the thing that happened last year, right? We just want a conversation. No, cuz we want policy changing. We want people to go to jail for killing people so that the other people think twice about killing somebody because they're not going to happen to them. But anyway, he said, fast forward to Charlottesville, and the country sees what un-American protest really looks like. That's when I had my change of heart. I feel I needed to regain control of the narrative and not let people say what they were doing is un-American. This is true, and that should have been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have had that thought, but I don't know, man. Somebody I respect told me one time that he said, Dr. Martin Luther King said that there's no wrong time to do the right thing. I kind of, in ways, disagree with Dr. King on that, but, you know, I get the premise, though. Now, here's the thing with Eric Reed, though. He's entering a free agent year. After this year, he'll be a free agent. But he says he's aware of what could happen with him, and he's not worried about the future economic fallout. He says, quote, if I'm not on the team next year, I'll be at home unhappy that I'm not on the team, but I'll be satisfied knowing that I did what I believe was right. That sentiment is echoed by one of Malcolm Jenkins' teammates who he did that same thing that I don't get it. It bottles the mind. Where's my little thing at? It's mind-boggling. Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
So crazy, it gets your thoughts all trapped like in a bottle.
Like in a bottle. Yeah, it's like, my man, like come on in or stay out. But he did this thing where Chris Long was on Malcolm Jenkins this past weekend. Chris Long was on Malcolm Jenkins' right. He had his left arm around him, and then this other cat, trying to find his name for you guys real quick. He was on the other side of Malcolm Jenkins. He was using his left hand for the pledge, which, that's disrespectful, I guess, is it not? But anyway, he had his right arm over Malcolm Jenkins while Malcolm Jenkins had his hand up. And I'm like, what you doing, man? Like, come on, let's just... Rodney McLeod is his name. And Rodney McLeod's a guy who's also not really... His spot isn't really on the team, isn't really secure. Ron Brooks, he wasn't with that group of guys. He was by himself, and he knelt during the anthem for the second week in a row. And, because people are idiots, like I said, people are emailing and calling for his immediate release for being disrespectful to their racist song and their flags. Now, this guy, Ron Brooks, is on the fringe, man. He's not really guaranteed to make this team. And it's a shame that this could have an effect on his future employment, man. That's the shame of it all in America. We're not even talking about the NFL right now, man. At this point, just in America, that's a thing, man. Like, we still are black people with these asterisks behind our rights. You know what I mean? Like, read the fine print, Negro. Yeah, you have the right to, and in real small letters, as long as white people are comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? So Peter King. And I put this article from the MMQB, Peter King, he sent out some of his reporters to NFL stadiums and cities across the country, and they spoke with 60 fans about what's going on with Colin Kaepernick, and the responses differ, man, and from young and old, minorities to white people, people saying stuff like he got what he deserved, or this is the one I love real quick. This is the one I love. If he can just let it go in time, he could play again. Anybody can make a mistake in this country and recover from it. I think he could too. What damn mistake, cuz? This is a dude who is a former warden at a prison. Dude named Mike Deloy. They actually put their names in this article. So that was pretty hot. And then you have guys like Hispanic cats. He's talking about how, this is not American. That you should be able to have a cause and quietly, that sounds crazy, quietly voice your displeasure with things that are going on in this country. Like anybody, people, it's like a kid, right? Like if you're the person who's always telling your kid how perfect they are, even though he's a dumbass in school, you're a bad parent. You know what I'm saying? If you can't acknowledge the faults of your child and then work to fix those faults, like if your kid is slow in school, and you keep telling him he's perfect, but you don't go get him no tutors or no help or none of that kind of stuff, you're a bad parent. That's the same attitude towards the country that you live in. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same type of situation where, this country is far from perfect. Far, 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 far from perfect. And if you feel that you can't address the imperfections and address the flaws within it. You're the unpatriotic one, not the cat that's saying, look, I'm seeing something wrong happen. I saw a dude get murdered in front of his woman, live in front of his woman and his baby, and the dude that did it was allowed to use the excuse that he was scared. And we all know that we all can juxtapose the thing that made him scared was the color of this kid's skin. You know what I mean? The kid that did everything right. He said, look, man, I got a firearm. It's registered. The next thing you know, he got bullets in him and he's no longer on earth. You know, it's real in the field, man. You know what I mean? And the fact that this stuff is still allowed to happen, like people, you get retribution for being an American, essentially, right? Shout out to Ralph Garcia, man, checking in here on the old Facebook live stream, checking me out, man. What up, homie? And I just lost my train of thought. Oh, and the other thing, like I was talking to Geoff about, you know, the waffling, you know, and I kind of accuse Eric Reed for waffling, and I still kind of do. You know what I mean? Like if it means something to you, let it just mean something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it should, like the stuff in Charlottesville, like, so if that never happened, like that really had nothing to do with the narrative of you being un-American. That was, and it still remains. People still feel that way. They don't care that girl got murdered in the streets up there in Charlottesville. They don't care about that. People are like Geoff said, people are justifying their biases. Let them do it. Like stop pandering to them and stop like tiptoeing around and stuff. Like I'll be all right if none of these dudes ever mention troops or flags, any of this stuff. Let people think what they want to, whatever. F them, man. Straight up. And then you got Jim Brown. Like these cats, like, as much credit as y'all wanted to give these cats for the Browns for defying Hugh Jackson, you know what the owner did? Jim Haslam did. He went and got his big gun, an old Negro that gets respect only because he's old. You know, Jim Brown's a bad guy. He did a lot of bad things, man. You know what I'm saying? From beating people up, beating women up, you know, all these things that we label people as pariahs for in today's day and age. We just kind of like sweep them away and like, because just Jim Brown took a picture with Muhammad Ali and Cassius Clay and them cats. That's enough to wipe away all that stuff. No, man, F him, man. And then the next thing you know, he's up here kissing Donald Trump's ass. For what reason? I still can't figure out. So then he goes and talks to these kids for the Browns. There was 12 of them and like 5 more cats standing around them. Like these are cats who even said they was praying. Like these cats was like, nah, it ain't really that. We was praying for our country. That still wasn't good enough. Jim Brown, who earlier in the week told TMZ, last week told TMZ that I'd never disrespect my flag or my anthem. Hold on, Playboy. Thing is, neither one of them are yours. They weren't thinking about your black ass when they made them at all. And I would still argue that they still don't have anything to do with you today. But anyway, he goes and tells these kids, it has a locker room speech, pregame speech for their preseason game. They need to stand up for this pledge and this anthem. They do it. Instead of giving him the middle finger and said, oh man, be gone. See, there's always one. You know what I'm saying? Like white folks, they gonna always have that one in their pocket. Hugh Jackson wasn't enough. He wasn't enough to get the kids to do what they want to do. So he went out and got someone more influential to the franchise than the head coach in Jim Brown. And Jim Brown got these dudes to turn back on what they was doing. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I was talking to Geoff about, you know, whether or not Colin Kaepernick would play again. And he has the same, like he has optimism. I don't have any optimism. Like I don't do the hope. I hope and I wish and all. I don't do all that stuff. But, you know, I appreciate positive people because the world needs more of them and less of me. You know what I mean? The world needs more of those people who believe in, like, there's a possibility for world peace and that Donald Trump will be impeached. There needs more positive people like that and more people like me, or less people like me than like we're screwed. Like I've already told y'all that the world's going to end in 2017 over a Twitter beef between a Korean cat and an orange cat. That's how the world is going to end this year. But we talked about whether Colin Kaepernick's going to play again. And part of the reason that he's not going to play again They're letting you know. Like, people are starting like mention his name. The Broncos said they may be interested, or the Jaguars owner said this. Well, that's kind of get you off the scent, the collusion scent. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's not collusion if all the owners and GMs aren't on board with it. Yeah, screw you. TJ Yates and Tyrod Taylor are in concussion protocol for the Buffalo Bills. Now, here's the thing though. Like, for Colin Kaepernick to be signed briefly as one of these dudes come back from a concussion, that's not serving anything, because eventually he'll have to be cut. You know what I mean? If these dudes have cemented their roles on these particular ball clubs, that's a problem. But you got guys like Andrew Luck ain't gonna start the season, and no one knows when he will either. That shoulder is worse than they're letting you know about, because they're really not letting you know anything about it. Joe Flacco may not start the season. We just found out the tall kid out there in Denver, not Simeon, the one that's starting, Paxton Lynch, he's going to be out a few weeks. So there are some possibilities and some job openings, but, you know, yeah, the kid that stirred up all that trouble, no work for you, homie. You know what I'm saying? No work. And it's a damn shame. But you know what? I did read something today, and I heard Michael Smith also mention that I think Colin Kaepernick is in the Smithsonian. He's in the African American museum. Like, this dude is going to be a historical figure, man. And what I believe and what I know is the same thing with Jackie Robinson. Like, back in the day when Jackie Robinson said, "I can't stand for this pledge and this anthem." I'm paraphrasing. It don't apply to me. Like, when Jackie Robinson says that, and now here we are all these years later, man, he's a national treasure. You know what I'm saying? History is going to tell on these people, man. It's going to tell the truth on these people who feel like Colin Kaepernick is this pariah. The actual quote is, "I cannot stand and sing the anthem. I cannot salute." That's Jackie Robinson, man. That was in 1972. And here we are, as history repeats itself. You know what I'm saying? As history kind of just repeats itself, this black man who says, you know what? Y'all didn't care enough about me, first of all, to even include me in the mentioning of this anthem and all this craziness. Y'all didn't even think enough to include me in it. And now you want me to pledge allegiance to it, honor it, when there's no honor for me, and it hasn't been for hundreds of years in this country? Yeah, eat one. a big, fat, sick one, too. Well, anyway, college football started this weekend, and it's always my favorite. I didn't even mention this on Friday, did I? That my favorite jerk bag of a head coach. He's one of them. Dabo Swinney. I think he got like an 8-year extension, making him the third highest paid coach in college football. And like, for you guys who listen to the show, you know I don't count people's money. I don't do that. I don't count people's money. But in this particular situation, I'm not counting his money. I'm going to point out this. I'm going to point this out. I guess I should say that. Say it that way. That he's the guy who said, if you start paying these players, I quit. I'm going to walk. Like, how is it that serious to you that of your millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, if these kids whose backs you're earning or making this money off of, just get a cut? You so vexed by that, you just gonna quit? Now, I trust me, I know that it's bull crap. Like, ain't nobody turning down nothing but they collar when that kind of money is on the table. I know it's bull, but just the fact that you got the gall and the, you know what I mean, the audacity to say something like that out your mouth, G. It's ridiculous. These kids out here getting brain damage and torn ACLs and all this kind of stuff. And you like, the education, that's all you need. This fake ass education. Yeah, miss me, man. You gotta miss me with that, man. I don't know. But, you know, these cats is rolling all in the money, man. They rolling in it. And the reason I bring up college football starting, by the way, is the fact that Stanford and Rice played in Australia. Like, how much money you think that costs? Straight up, how much money you think that costs? And I probably could have looked it up. For you to fly a whole football team, they had to stay out there for a while to practice and all that kind of stuff, because it's Australia. You know, you can't just go out there like fly out there like you fly to LA for a day and come back. You out there, you know what I mean? So you got to have your facilities and stuff, you know, transferred out there, everything that you need out there with you to Australia. Put people up, gotta feed them, gotta do all this kind of stuff, man. But ain't no money for the players. All right, I guess. I mean, I guess it makes sense to somebody somewhere, but eventually, like, these kids is going. I mean, they already starting to catch on, and eventually, I think they'll find a way. I read an article to you guys. I remember last year about how kids could protest being forced to be walking billboards by simply spatting their shoes up, and the reason they can do that. Like the shoe companies have rules on how the shoes have to be displayed. But in the NCAA guidelines, it clearly says that players cannot be forced to promote any product. Sounds like a rock and a hard place situation for me. Yeah, I'd spat. For those of you who don't understand what spatting your shoes are, it's just taping up the shoe around the ankle and taping up the entire shoe. All day long, cuz I'd be on that for real. Because it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, if a kid wanted to go out there for, I think UCLA was Under Armour. They want to go out there in some Jordans, some Jordan cleats. Yeah, that'd be a big no-no. How? Tell me how I have to wear this and you not breaking me off none of the cash that these coaches are getting. Louisville just signed like this huge, like $58 million deal or something like that. Louisville. You let Lamar Jackson, with Adidas, I think, you let Lamar Jackson want to run out there in some Nikes and see what happens. This is the Heisman Trophy winner from last year. I want you to see what happens. Although they say they can't make you do it. Yeah, they'll find a way. Coming up on the bottom of the hour, I'm going to take my final break here in just a second. Here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I didn't mention to you guys. Let me rewind. I told you I was going to mention this a couple times during the show. For anyone who wants to donate to the relief efforts that are going on as a result of hurricane turned tropical storm Harvey, it's quite simple, man. Just call 1-800 Red Cross, or even easier, you can text the word Harvey, Harvey, to 90999. And I think what it does is just adds a $10 charge to your cell phone bill, man. So it's not even like you got to pull out the credit card and get the number and turn it on the back and get the verification code and all that. You got to do all that, man. It's just going to come on your next bill, $10 to the Red Cross, man, or more. You know what I mean? I'm sure they'll allow you to, and they're not gonna cap you at the 10. So if you're available, or if you have more available to give, by all means. Chris Paul, I think, gave like $50,000, with JJ Watt collecting somewhere around $200,000. He said he was gonna bump up the goal from $200,000 to more, to help those people out. That's Chris Paul's new city. That's the city that JJ Watt's played in for his entire career. And those people are gonna need, man, for years. You know what I'm saying? I forget who I was talking to. They was talking about how in Hurricane Katrina, when Hurricane Katrina hit, there's still places that look the way they look after the hurricane was done. They're not fixed back up still, man. You know what I was thinking about? When Melanie Camacho was on the show. She's from L.A. I guess still stuff going on from Rodney King. Like, stuff still boarded up out in L.A. from Rodney King. I know we're talking two different things, natural disaster and, Negro disaster with the riots. But those people are going to need help, man, for a lot of time to come, man, rebuild. I can't even imagine the effort and time and, the painstaking things that you have to do to rebuild a life. Like, everything you have. That girl was on TV like, all I have is in my shoes, and I just grabbed my phone in my purse, and that's all I have. And I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, damn. So, yeah, if you can give, man, give 1-800 Red Cross, or text Harvey, Harvey, to 90999. I'm going to take a break. Last break of the show. Here on the Monday, man. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Get in on the conversations, man. 404-902-8104. Or that's the text line. Or you can jump inside my live interactive chat room. Let your thoughts be heard. Have your questions answered. Or leave your comments and questions below the live streaming video here on Facebook. During the break, I'll check them, because I don't think I can check them from this Facebook app here on the phone. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Last segment here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Welcome back. Welcome back from the weekend, man. Got some yard work done this weekend. Went out there and cut the grass. I mentioned my failings on Saturday with that fight, and the fact that I binge watched Power, which by the way is the dumbest, stupidest, character-driven show in the history of TV. Also, by the way, your racist president, he one-upped his racism, after saying, you know what, some of those white nationalists and those Nazis, they're stand-up guys. Went a step further and was like, you know what else I'm going to do? Just to piss you guys off while people are drowning and dying. By the way, I think the death total, if I just saw that right, is at 9 right now. Hurricane Harvey, Tropical Storm Harvey is taking nine lives away from the earth. My man decided he was going to pardon his racist homie, that racist sheriff out there in Arizona. If you guys watch Lockup, you know what I'm talking about. He had these cats outside in the heat in tents wearing pink. DMX was locked up out there for a minute. You know what I mean? Yeah, that guy pardoned his ass because he was an 85-year-old racist about to go to the bank for defying defying a judgment that said stop profiling Mexicans and Latino people and he couldn't help himself. I guess you just can't turn the racism off. So yeah, shout out to Agent Orange, man. As many racist people as has run this country from the White House. These cats own slaves and all this kind of stuff. Presidents who own slaves. At least in the modern era, the other guys have kind of hidden it, right? Like Nixon had recordings of people talking about, yeah, we're gonna pump the hood full of drugs. We're gonna make it a war against marijuana because we know the Negroes love their marijuana. This dude is like, whatever. Transgender people, double middle fingers to you guys. I don't care how patriotic you guys are serving in the military. That's the other thing too. Yeah, while I'm there, before I move on with the show, while these people who see how I'm about to bring it back to sports. While these jackknives who love to holler out, oh, look at him kneeling, he's unpatriotic. How many of y'all are speaking up for these transgender soldiers who your man is trying to kick out of the military, who dedicated their lives to serving this country? That now homeboy is like, nah, your services aren't needed because you're different. How many of y'all standing up for them? Oh, okay. They don't count, I guess. Hypocrites. The people who I loathe, like stupid people and hypocrites, a lot of times they're in the same boat. I loathe you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really was about that life, the troops and all that kind of stuff, oh, patriotic. Yeah, it wouldn't be special interest groups out here marching and protesting this so-called president, for what he's doing to these people, for him persecuting these people the way he is. He's throwing away people's careers, man, and lives. And you know what other thing he's doing? He's violating the trust. Because these people, I'm going to assume a lot of these people didn't even have to say nothing. Because how would you know? It's like the bathroom bill stuff. Like, if you've ever been in the bathroom with a transgender, what would it be? A transgender man, right? It'd be a man who was born a woman. Yeah. Like, how would you know? Like, who's in there checking the plumbing? Because not me. I'm in there handling my business. I'm going to piss or whatever, wash my hands, and I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, an aardvark could walk in the bathroom while I'm in there. As long as he don't jump on me and attack me, I probably won't even know he's there. I'm there to handle my business and walk out. We ain't in here communing. So it's the same thing with the military. These people didn't have to disclose that they were transgender. I'm going to assume some of them didn't. If they've had all the work done, how would you know? Or even like the majority of it. And like the plumbing was still the same or different or whatever. But now, these people have they've outed themselves because my man Barry was like, nah, y'all good with us. So they were made to feel comfortable not knowing that an idiot was going to take office after Barry and just reverse the whole thing. It's a shame, man. Like, it really ain't even about like him just being an idiot. It's like him being a bad human being. Because no one should have to go through that, man. You know what I'm saying? No, like, people shouldn't be. And that's why I get disappointed with black people, man. It's like civil rights is for everybody, man. And when people start getting poo-pooed on, man, it ain't just cool to be like, well, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not trans. Nah, whatever, man. Like, anybody who just don't get to live freely, it should be a problem for everybody. But, you know, whatever. That's my soapbox thing, whatever. I want to talk about this Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas thing, but I've been promising you guys, last week, I saw this study that was done on Muhammad Ali, and I found it like mad interesting, man. They went back, some scientists went back while we were in this boxing mode and boxing frame of mind, and they analyzed Muhammad Ali's like speech patterns from, you know, his younger years up until like him not being able to speak anymore. And what they found out was that he was probably, like the Parkinson's, was probably jumping on his ass as early as like 1971, man. Yeah, and they actually did like show some video of him on Outside the Lines, man, and you could see it. I mean, you could actually see his speech starting to slur and his thoughts starting to like slow up. Like in the 80s and moving on forward, man. This study was released on last Wednesday. And it determined that Muhammad Ali displayed signs of slowed or slurred speech as much as a decade before he was actually diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. ESPN.com's William Weinbaum, Arizona State University speech scientists Visar Barisha and Julie Liss studied public speaking appearances Ali made from 1968 through 1981 and found his speaking rate slowed by 26% from the ages of 26 to 39. Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at the age of 42, though, so 3 years later than what their study had. His last fight was in 1981 against Trevor Berbick, and the study found he was already slurring his words 3 years prior to that. And then they was talking about how while he was sparring, he would purposely let the sparring partner bust him upside the head because he had this feeling and this thought that you could build up a tolerance to headshots, which we all know now, bad idea. That you could build up a tolerance to headshots. So he was taking unnecessary punishment. Not to mention the whole rope-a-dope thing with George Foreman, letting George Foreman just bomb on his ass for like round after round after round before he could like, you know, take over the fight based on George Foreman's fatigue. Like all those things, man, like, you know, I guess what they say, you wish you knew then what you know now. But you got to wonder. And this is the type of thing, like the butterfly effect, like their movie, The Butterfly Effect. If Muhammad Ali did know then what he did know now and took action based on that knowledge, would he have been the iconic guy that he was? Would he have been the same guy that he was, that larger than life figure that he became? Because the boxing was a part of it. It wasn't just the the advocacy stuff. It was, you know, it was him. It was the persona. It was the big boy. The big boy way he went about his business in and out of the ring, man. And without the boxing stuff, if he was just like, you know what, I gotta quit doing this because they hitting me in the head too much, and I know it's taking an effect. Because like one of his trainers talked about in 1971, he knew he was getting bad. This is 71. You know what I mean? He wasn't, man. Dang. You know, science is a cruel be out that way, man. Like you don't really know until a lot of times, you know, tragic things happen over time. And I think like last week, I wanted to say so much more about this. And I guess my train of thought kind of just got caught up in so much of this other stuff, this protest stuff and whatnot. But I just, you know, with people, with this boxing thing happening, and my man Geoff said he don't think boxing is a neat sport. He said there's some big names in boxing, and that may be the case to people who are boxing fans. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you're in the eye of this. Well, I guess it's a bad analogy for right now, but when you're in the midst of it, things seem a lot bigger. But until they start talking about boxing on Good Morning America, the way they talk about like NFL topics on Good Morning America, nah, the masses don't care about Triple G. I think that's the thing. That's what I was trying to think of, and Geoff mentioned it. The masses don't care about these people. You know, that's why Floyd goes so hard with the promo, because the sport needs it. And if you don't have that Floyd guy that's also good, like you can have loudmouths that suck. What's that dude's name that brushes his hair in the ring? He get beat up all the time, don't he? So he don't count. No one cares about that. He's not going to be on ESPN or Good Morning America, none of these places, because the sport is so fringe and it's so minimalistic, I guess is the word I want to use. That's probably not the correct word, but whatever. I've taken a bunch of shots to the head myself as well. So I do have time. I can get into this situation real quick. So the Cavs deal with the Celtics is on shaky ground because, like I mentioned to y'all last week, Isaiah Thomas's hip. It's the great unknown, and now they got by Wednesday to have these physicals, or they can call the deal off, or they can ask for more in the deal, which they're saying they're not asking for more, or they can scrap the whole thing and then restructure the deal again. But the Celtics are already saying you're not getting no more first-round picks, and you're not getting these two young dudes. We got Tatum and this other kid. They not coming either. So figure out a way to deal with it. But here's the situation that they're in right now. Where you going for both these teams? Where you gonna go? You done already ished on Isaiah. He all emotional about it. He already talked about how emotional he was about it. LeBron, Kyrie already think he out of there. They having Kyrie Irving nights at minor league baseball games in Boston. You can't turn back now. You gotta push forward. You gotta find a way to push forward. You can't send Isaiah back to Boston. You can't send Kyrie back to Cleveland. LeBron will be like, wait, hold on, cuz. No, because that's too. I mean, I guess you gotta be a professional. You know, I guess you kind of gotta be a professional about it. And if you gotta go back, suck it up and play, because you got your teammates to worry about and all that kind of stuff. But God, just being a human being, that's difficult. You know what I mean? Especially if you're Isaiah. Like if you're Kyrie, maybe you can understand. Like, okay, the deal just didn't get worked out. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 years left on your deal anyway. So, you know, it was a blessing. Here I am. It's a blessing. It was, you know, fortunate that you were able to be moved anyway. But if you're Isaiah Thomas, you're going to feel a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to walk through the door. Brad Stevens going to get the side eye. Danny Ainge going to get it too. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? And Jay Crowder, he ain't really the one to stay shut, keep his mouth shut about things either, because he's in this deal as well. You know, speaking of Jay Crowder, he might want to get out of. Well, I don't know, because like stuff is old. But you know, I saw the article and the story about him. I guess he's engaged to Derrick Rose, his old high school flame, and these dudes are like 30-something years old now, so it probably don't matter as much. But it does beg this question though. Like, how these cats always seemingly end up with the same brides all the time. Remember Kyrie was either he was messing with a chick that Klay Thompson was messing with, or vice versa. You got James Harden and Tristan Thompson. They smashing the Kardashian bride. And it's like, these stories are more and more like, how is it the same batch of chicks that y'all vibe with? You know what I mean? Like, the NBA ain't that big. It's like, 30 teams, 12 dudes on the team. And when you start talking about guys whose names you actually know, that number gets smaller. It seems like as young black millionaires, all 6'8" type dudes, like the potential pool of women would be large enough to where you wouldn't be Eskimo bros with every dude that you match up against. If you don't know what Eskimo bros are, you got to check out the League. It don't come on no more, but you can get it on demand. The League, that fantasy football show, that's funny as hell. Eskimo bros, Taco and Marshawn Lynch are Eskimo bros. Speaking of the League, my draft, if you're listening to this show right now, you're a part of my fantasy football league. The draft is this Sunday, coming up at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. NFL.com. I do suggest that you set your rankings and all that stuff. Test the draft out prior to actual draft time, so you know that it works on your whatever device you're going to use it on, whether it's on your cell phone, your mobile device, whatever, your laptop. Test it out in advance, because we drafting live. All that auto pick stuff is for the birds. I'm going to send out an email beforehand this time, because last time, people forgot. I understand where it's not a priority. So, we're going to try to be more proactive. I'll try to be more proactive this year. A couple of things coming out of the NFL preseason wise. First of all, stop saying that the preseason is useless. There's many a guy who's gotten jobs in the NFL based on their performance in the preseason. Like that whole notion that because people get hurt, oh no, they're gonna have no Odell Beckham Jr. Then now, I started calling him Wes Welker, the other white boy, the new Wes Welker. Julian Edelman, he's out for the season with an ACL. But like my theory on that had kind of remained consistent. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like these dudes, because practices have been cut so much, and the stuff that you're able to do at practice, like everything is like half speed and everything is like walk through. Like then once you have to like put those ligaments through these bursts and these cuts, these sudden accelerations and stops and starts, they don't know how to act. You haven't conditioned your ligaments properly by practicing at an adequate speed. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. And then you get into the games and they pop. They're not as malleable as they might have been, maybe. I don't know. But either way, Julian Edelman is out for the season for the Patriots. They got to Brandon Cooks is a small guy. Maybe they can start putting him in the slot and give him some of that work. I know that spot is usually reserved for a short white guy, but now a short black guy can take over, and we'll see what he does. DeShone Kizer, shout out to him. Leaving school early. People said he shouldn't have. And guess what? He's a starting quarterback in the NFL, albeit number 27 in the last, I don't know how many years, for the Cleveland Browns. But hey, whatever. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So shout out to DeShone Kizer, man. I still think, I don't think the Browns are going to be garbage. You know what I mean? But, it's something to look at for the time being. Kind of keep your eye on when you're checking out your NFL red zone. You see what the young kid is doing, man. Maybe he'll make some plays. They got Corey Coleman out there. They got, what's the kid's name? Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson in the backfield. They got, they got players that can do NFL type stuff. So yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? And then there's Vontaze Burfict. He who giveth and he who taketh away. Vontaze, like yesterday, he had a pick six, or was it Saturday? Had a pick six, turn right around and gets a personal foul that's probably gonna cost him 5 games. And like, I'm kind of tired of beating this drum. You know what I mean? Like you people, like I saw my man Peter Quill, right, on social media. I'm shouting him out. Like they need to just go ahead and get that dude, kick him out the league. I'm like, why? Because the league says to you now that this is unacceptable. These kind of plays are dirty and we don't want them in the game anymore. It's football, man. Your man got caught slipping and he caught one to the chest. Plain and simple. Even per Vontaze, he said that the kid got up and said it was a clean hit. He told him it was a good hit because he knew he was slipping. You got a dude named anything Tez, black dude named anything Tez on the back. His mama decided she's gonna spell it Taze, but it's still Vontaze. On the back, yeah, he kind of loose up there. He's a wild boy. So you got caught slipping. But this whole thing that the NFL has done, and they've done a masterful job of it, changing your sensibilities as fans. The things that you would have got jacked up a few years ago. Now you're crying like, oh my God, how is this violent human being in the league? Because it's NFL football and it's violent. And there's no way, I don't care what the NFL says or tries to pump, you don't make that game safe. See, those kind of hits, they stand out. But if you listen to neurologists, they'll tell you it's those subconcussive blows of things that are causing people's brain to turn into mush. These linemen who are getting boom, 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 these hits over and over and over again. These 35-mile-an-hour collisions in short distances over and over again. That's what's spoiling people's brains. For the most part. This thing that Vontaze did was like, look, I came up playing football in the 90s, man, and that's what we were taught, man. It's a 5-yard chuck, right? You get a 5-yard rule. You in that 5 yards, yeah, you can get your head knocked off. But the NFL now has said, oh, we got to protect defenseless receivers. They don't protect defenders, though. They don't do that. Cats want to start, getting like peel back blocking on people. They don't care. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of just over the whole NFL is making the game safer. You're not. Before I go, so last night, Game of Thrones ended for the season, right? And I'm not one of the oh my God, we gotta wait till 2018. That's how they always do it. It'll be here before you know it. I don't really care about that. Yeah, it was just kind of wild because I watch the show because I think it's entertaining and it's like real. What's the word I'm looking for? It's action packed, but I don't really get all the character developments and how people are related to other people. I'm kind of getting to know who the characters are, but it's still hard. So when things like yesterday, the Khaleesi and Jon Snow end up banging. Now I did find out because I'm the dude that has to go on the internet and read things because I haven't read these books or anything. I didn't even know there was a book till there were books until season 4 or something. I thought it was just a show that somebody came up with out of their brain. But they're like aunt and nephew, some kind of. I don't even know how that is. They try to explain it during the show, and I'll probably watch the show again because that's what I do. I usually watch Game of Thrones twice because I'm that slow and behind. But anyway, they end up banging, and that was like a big thing for people. But here's the thing. Okay, so one broad gave birth to triplets that were dragons. That happened. Not once, but twice. She emerged from blazing infernos. Nothing touched. Not her weave, eyebrows. Only thing, she just came out naked. Her clothes got burnt off, but not her weave or eyebrows, nothing else. This dude was stabbed multiple times, once in the heart, died, and was brought back to life by a witch. Some kind of way, I just feel like the laws of whatever universe they in kind of cancels out the whole incestuous thing. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good looking dude. She fine. You can bang your aunt. And she's not like an aunt, like I'm 14 and Aunt Judy's like 39. Nah, they like the same age, I guess. They look like or whatever, and then they bang. No judgment for me. I feel like I need to walk in that man's shoes before I judge them. And the last thing, Art Briles is back in football. He's coaching for the Tiger Cats. He's an offensive coordinator, I guess. His man, June Jones. I keep telling y'all, man, rich white people, it's hard for them to lose, man. It's hard for rich white people to lose. This dude headed up a program where chicks were raped and gang raped and stalked and all kind of things. And for the sake of winning college football games, man, this dude, he and Ken Starr and these cats chose to ignore him and brush him off and allow it to continue to happen. And they paid him to leave, like they do, unless you're Hugh Freeze. They paid him to leave. And now his homie got a gig, so he hooked his homie up. He up there in Canada getting some of those Canadian dollars to coach football again, which is only a few steps away from the NFL. And I only mention that to mention that, You know, I always talk about how in this country, period, like black people, black men especially, are expected to wear their transgressions forever and ever and ever, and never have them be ratified. With white people, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it comes and it goes. Jerry Sandusky raping boys in the Penn State locker room. Don't worry about it. You know, slap on the wrist. We'll take everything back that we ever said. No sanctions. And Penn State is back on top of the mountain, like close at least. James Franklin up there doing work. And that's what Baylor's hoping is going to happen to their program. That's why I asked, golly, I can't even remember his name now. That's a damn shame, isn't it? I can't even remember the interview I did with Bill Bender from the Sporting News on Friday. That's why I asked him about that. Like, you know, will people's safety take precedent over the fear of going back in time for a Baylor program that was terrible? It wasn't about no football. You know, they got Art Browse in there with his offense. The league changed around them as well. So everybody was doing air raid and airing it out, scoring 90 points a game, and they fit right in. But women were getting raped and sexually assaulted and stalked, and trying to report that the people were doing it to them were majority football players, and the guy who was over them was more concerned about winning football games than the safety of young women on that campus. But that's his life, right? You know, that's the world we live in. That's the country that we live in as well. You know what I mean? So be it. I'll be back on Wednesday. Wednesday may be the last show of the week. The wifey and I got some personal stuff to take care of that may take me into Friday. I mean, we got to do it on Thursday, but it may take me into Friday. So I may not be here to do a show on Friday, but don't forget, my man Rob Grimwood from Fantasy Football 24/7 is going to join me on Friday at 7:30, to get us ready for the fantasy football draft. One Mike with Big Mike fantasy football draft. Or if you're in another league and you got questions for my man Rob Grimwood, you can definitely, you know, get him into the show. Any type of draft strategy questions you want to know about certain players, health wise, and things of that nature, you can always text the show 404-902-8104. You can do it inside the chat room. You can leave comments below the streaming video, whatever you want to do, man. If you didn't get a chance to hear the entire show, including my interview with Geoff Pope, former NFL player, Super Bowl champion, you can check it out on demand on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and the YouTube, and of course the website onemikewithbigmike.com. Be sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. So until Wednesday, man, till Hump Day, you guys be safe. All my people out in Texas, out in Louisiana, head up, man. Keep your head up, man. I feel for you, no doubt, man. You guys make sure, one more time, make sure you guys, you know, if you can, 1-800-RED-CROSS or text Harvey to 90999 to make your donations to the relief efforts as a result of Hurricane Tropical Storm Harvey. So until Wednesday, man, remember, all you need is one mic.